Hello, thanks for checking out the method.co. I'm going to go through with you a short tutorial of a redesign that I did of a magician's postcard. So what you see on the screen here is his original version, and I'm going to show you how I was able to take and organize all of his information that you see here on this postcard and go from this to this. As you can see, all of the information and the design is much more visually pleasing, as well as all the information is easier to follow. You can find easier the information that you're looking for. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. What you'll see me using here is Adobe InDesign, and I'm not really going to go into any of the details of how I'm doing things in the program, but I'm going to instead go through some of the changes that I made and some of my reasoning and thinking of why I did that. So, as you can see here, in the original layout there was a nice white border around the thing. While that it looks nice, personally I like having all the artwork bleed to the edge of the document. And what that means is having all the artwork go all the way to the edge, so when it's printed there's no white border. And that's what it means to bleed. The artwork goes all the way to the edge and beyond, so whenever they cut it, there is no white border. That is what bleed is. The next thing I did was to also extend to the edge the dark box that he put all of the text on. And so now, when I go back into the preview, we see all of this dark area that we're going to put all of the information in. And I'm going to make that a little darker just so that it will be much easier for the white text to pop off the document just like that. And then one more thing for the background structure of things is just to make the magician bigger. After all, he is the star of his act and of the postcard, so it only makes sense for him to be much more prominent on the postcard. I bring back the copy. This is the layout that he had before. I'm just gonna move this over to the side, and I have over here all of my redesigned artwork, and I'll go over this with you here. The main thing I did was I used just one font for everything. As I select this here, you'll notice that up here in my font selection I have Archer, and as I select more text you'll notice that all of it is Archer. Now what I had done to create variances in this is I used bolder and lighter weights as well as italic variations just to bring a little more variety to things. So changed everything to one font. It's generally a good idea to just use one font and use the different variations within that font family. If you're going to use more than one, you probably don't want to use more than two fonts, and if you do use two fonts, make sure that they are very different from each other. That way it won't look like a mistake if they're too similar to each other. You want to go for contrast. So you might use a font that has serifs, and a serif would be these little things on the top of the U. That's a serif. The little things coming off of the side of the N. And a sans serif would not have that. And that would be, to use a serif and a sans serif would be a good contrast from each other. So just a little aside there. One of the other things I did here was I aligned everything along the left-hand side, and that just helps to add structure to the design, makes things easier to read, and helps to draw the eye from the top of the page down. So it makes the design stronger. For the main body copy here, since it's white text against a dark background, I used a bold font. If you're going to use reversed text like that, the white on the black, you'll probably want to use something bolder because that makes it pop more off of the page. And then over here on the bottom, I used a semi-bold, and all of the contact information is also much larger. So that way the important things on the page are instantly recognizable. We have the headline at the top, which grabs the attention of the reader, and then we have the contact information, which people want to be able to find at a glance, and then all of the supporting information is there as well. And one more thing that I did here is used the principle of proximity. So the headline is in a grouping together, the main copy is in a grouping together, and the contact information is in a grouping together. This also helps direct where the reader wants to be able to try and find things. So just a few things I did here to make the overall design more coherent and work better at what it does, which is basically giving the information that people would need in order to decide to hire our magician Aaron Wheeler here. So I hope that this has been informative and that it will help you to take some of this into some of the designs that you're trying to do. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. You can reach me at themethod@chrisshepard.com. My website is themethod.co. There's no M there, so it's if you put the .com, you've gone too far. It's themethod.co. And what I have there is basically just graphic design tips, branding tips, anything that I think would be useful to you magicians out there who are trying to put together your promotional materials. So once again, thanks for watching, and I hope this has been informative.